Right, just about to head out fishing. It just occurred to me that I didn't have any fuel, so I just fueled up a can. I don't have to drive too far. It's got some squid out the freezer as well, which I've got to take down. Unfortunately, I've got to take the whole box because it's all frozen solid. So, just filled up this can, which will be enough. So it's not too far away. And just need a funnel as well. Right, going to put some fuel in the car, then we'll be on our way. It's very, very still out there, so hopefully it'll be a good night. A bit cold, but it is the winter. Right, well, we're making our way down to the mark and carrying a bit of extra weight tonight. That'll be the Christmas dinner. Yeah, it's good to try and burn it off a bit from all that good Christmas eating. Tonight's target species, anything. We're just really going to have a go for anything, just random cast out. We've got a bit of squid with us. I'll get a little bit of worm, I won't get too much. And we'll just try that. We're just fishing basically, it's about an hour up from low. We'll just fish the tide up for a couple of hours, see what we catch, and yeah, we'll go from there. Fortunately, there's a bit of a moon out tonight, so that'll help seeing where I'm going. I don't think it'll help the camera much, but it'll help me clambering over the rocks. Right, let's get to the mark. Okay, first rod's baited up. I've got two rods, but I'm only going to go with the one to start with. Normally I'd bait up both, but because we caught well here a while back, I'm just going to use the single rod for the time being. We've got a bit of squid on the top hook and we've got a couple of worms on the bottom hook, so we'll give that a go to start with. Well, it's been a little while and nothing much is happening. We had a little bit of motion just now, but it has all this sort of signal of being a crab. Might not be, might be something having a go at it. Right, so I've now slung a second rod out, just with a single hook, a bit of squid. We've been here, how long have we been here fishing? We have been here for about 25 minutes, and I haven't seen a bite yet. Last time we came here, we caught several fish by now, but obviously that was then and this is now. Well, we just had our first line knock or bite. Gonna give it a little bit longer, see if it takes it or not. It's been very quiet though. I say very quiet, absolutely nothing's happened. Oh, there we go. It's definitely a bite. Yep. Right, get near the water. Something's having a pop at this. Aha! Been after one of these for a while. one of my target species that turns up from time to time. Red mullet. There you go, look at that. Lovely fish. Quite a decent sized one. It's the first one I've had in a couple of years, to be honest. I used to target these all the time, used to catch a lot, but the last couple of years haven't been that good. Let's have a look. Absolutely cracking fish, that. Red mullet. There we go. One cracking red mullet. These make an absolute superb eating fish as well. They catch them down in the Mediterranean, I believe. And we catch them here at this time of year. Now after this I'm going to have to move. Again, it's just about getting back round the rocks so I don't get cut off. Could probably fish longer, but it makes the climb back a lot more difficult the longer you leave it. Yeah, that's definitely something going on there. We have a very small dogfish. God, I think that's the smallest dogfish I've ever caught. Look at that for a little weeny dogfish. I think that's the smallest one I've ever had. It's not tiny, but it's pretty damn small. Right. Try and get the hook out. Always the fun part. Right. There it is. It's actually not that far in. Look at that, weeny dogfish. Right, I'm going to put this back. Right, so we moved positions and we are getting bites on the squid rod. I threw the squid rod out first before I set the camera up, and the ragworm one, as you may have seen, I've just thrown that one out. So, yeah, there's definitely something on this. I'm having a go at it. And it's a bream. First bream of the night. There we go. Not a bad sized bream. Get to one side. So I've got a couple of torches on. One is for one's more of a spotlight so I can see what I'm doing when I catch the fish. But there, nice bream. Like I say, first one of the night. Just check that you get a good enough shot at it. I say sometimes this light can be a bit glary, especially when I've put in fresh batteries on it today. Do that, and then you might get a better view of it. One deep. Now getting bites already. Just shows change of venue. Now the ragworm's going. That could be red mullet. Whoa. That took it like a red mullet. So that could still be bream. Oh, it's a bream. It's a cracking bream. Thought that might have been a red mullet because one, it was the way it ripped the line off. Bream do it as well, but red mullet, they can be real powerful fighters. But that's a really good bream. That's a good size one. That one I'm going to keep. That'll be dinner, not for tomorrow, but the next day. Absolutely cracking bream, that. Not giant, but big. There we go. Nice big bream. Change of plan, other rod's going. Oh heck, now that one's going. This is going to get messy. Oh, heck. Just a small black bream on this one. I'm going to get this off and get the other rod. Black bream. If you can see it on this camera before I chuck her back. Right, get it back and get the other rod. Okay, that's gone. Now this one. There we go. It's not bad actually, it's bigger than the one we had on the other rod. Well, that was a hectic moment. Another nice bream there. Perfectly hooked. Got a slightly bigger hook on today. Got a 1/0 on. Normally use the 1/0s, but I've been using ones because I didn't have any of the others. There we go. Hopefully that shows up alright. Again, we'll do that stronger light off. Just one bream. Well, we'll get a few nibbles again on the squid. Probably small bream again. The sun has started rising, although I'm probably going to call this my last cast. I'd like to stay a bit longer for the dawn, but to be honest, I want to get off this area. It's a very big tide and I've got a good chance of getting cut off pretty quick. The tide will be coming up real quick. And it's another good sized bream. This one I'm going to have to keep because it's a bleeder. But that's fine, it's big enough to eat, that's for sure. There you go, another cracking bream. Is that a line screamer? Yep, 2 bream. Well, we couldn't finish the morning on a. We had to finish on a twofer, you know, it's tradition. There we go, 2 nice bream. Again, I'll turn it off. It's actually getting more daylight now, although it's probably still dark for you, being the... There we go, 1 and a 2. Right, let's get these unhooked, and I think I'm going to call it a night. Right, well, just about to pack everything away. So the rods have been packed. Just got to pack the cameras away, and then going to head back. I would stay a bit longer, but we caught a few fish. I'm going to keep a couple. I got a bleeder, and I got a couple of others. I got my red mullet, and I've got a couple of breams. So I'm going to take those and put the others back. I don't really want to carry on catching them. I mean, I've had a couple that swallowed the hook, so I'd rather you know, stop fishing now. We've had a good night, so we've caught plenty. It started off like it wasn't going to catch anything. It was just dead when we started, but that could be the effect of a big spring low. It takes a little time for the water to get up, get moving, and bring the fish in. But it proved all right. We moved a bit as well. We caught a couple of fish. Yeah, we caught the dogfish and the red mullet further over, and we moved up to this mark, and we've had basically bream here, so you know, it's been good. And like I say, I dare say if we carried on we'd catch more, but like I say, I'm going to stop now and start making my way back. Right, so last night was a successful night. We did alright with the bream. We had the red mullet, which was nice to see. And to be honest, when we started out, I really didn't think we were going to catch a lot. Why didn't I think that? Because we had a full moon, and never been a big fan of full moons. I mean, I know when I grew up, a lot of fishermen used to say, yeah, you want to go on the full moons. Full moons are always the best time to go fishing, or at night. But I think that was just because it was more easy to see where you're going in that. Because I know for a fact that when we used to go congering, full moons were not good nights to go fishing. It didn't mean that you wouldn't catch anything, but we certainly didn't catch anywhere near like we caught on the new moons. I mean, a full moon would produce anything from 0 to, say, 3 congers, whereas a new moon, we used to catch anything from sort of, I don't know, 3 or 4 congers right up to sort of 10, 12 congers in a night. Now, there was usually 3 of us that used to go. So there was 3 of us, it wasn't just me on my own, of course. And yes, that made a big difference. And also I kept a record as well on bass fishing many years ago. And I kept every detail, like the moon, the tide state, the bait we were using, the hook, the line, every little detail, even down to the pressures and that I kept. And there was nothing in common with any of the catches. And this was over a period of 3 months. I think it was around 3 months, and I think it was 22 fish were caught. And I mean, I was going for big bass. I wasn't going for school bass. I was actually fishing for big stuff, big baits, you know, crab, this kind of thing. So I was out for the big ones. I think the smallest fish was 4 pound. After that, every fish was between 6 and 12 pounds. And out of those 22 fish that I caught, only 2 fish were caught on full moons. Now, when I say full moons, I also mean sort of the days either side of a full moon, whichever it was closest to. If it was closest to a new moon or a full moon, that's where I'd say, okay, this is a new moon, this is a full moon. If the moon was out, then obviously it was a moon night. And like I say, in the records, it only shows 2 fish that were caught during a full moon. Everything else was caught more nearer than the new moon cycle. Now, why that is, I don't know. Maybe the fish are a bit more skittish, coming in. I mean, particularly with bass coming in shallow, and the big ones, they do tend to be skittish. If you go down flashing your torches around on the beach, and there's big bass around, you're going to find they're gone. The little ones, they're not so much. They're not too bothered by the light. The other thing you've got to remember is, it's not so bad if you've got something behind you, but if you break a horizon line, the fish does have a certain amount of sight that it can see you, and we've seen this before, and the water just explodes if they see you kind of move like that. So always try and get structure behind you if you're bassing. I'm talking when you're fishing 1, 2, 3 feet of water, not when you're sort of 10 foot of water. That doesn't really matter. It's only when you're close in, fishing the very edge kind of thing, and in gullies on sort of little bays and that. But anyway, like I say, the full moons have never really been that great. Although last night was okay. It started out, like I say, for the first hour or so, it's just nothing happening. Then we had the red mullet, and then we went on to moving positions after the dogfish, and we got those bream. Now, maybe the fish just came in a bit later because it was a big tide, so it would have gone out a long way, and they may have taken a bit longer to come back in again, depth of water, because things like black bream and red mullet, you really need a bit of depth of water for them. They don't tend to like going super shallow, not the slightly larger fish. So maybe that's got something to do with it as well from last night. But there's that. Anyway, tonight I'm going to go give it a crack down somewhere else. Now, where I'm going is, I don't really go there. To be honest, it's a place that it looks great, but I mean, most trips I've done down there have caught absolutely nothing. I mean, it's just like that. Sometimes there's just nothing there at all. And yet, a funny instance was a few years back, I started going down there, and I caught some fish, and then I just had a week or two of just non-stop action. I mean, one night I think it was 13 bass. Smallest bass was 3.5 pounds. The biggest was about 7. They were all sort of within that range. And it was just phenomenal. And for the next sort of 2 weeks I was just catching, I think I caught something ridiculous like 70, 80 bass over those couple of weeks when I went down there. Apart from that, I never catch anything there. It's just like that particular time the fish must have just moved in that area, and then they were gone again. I think aside from that, I've had one dogfish and a pout down there. But we're going to go and give it a shot tonight, because it is kind of the time of year. This is the thing with it, it's time of year you need to be at that certain place. Filming it might be a bit tricky. Now, if I don't catch, obviously there won't be a video. If I catch maybe just 1 or 2 small fish, then I'm going to probably tack it onto the end of this video, and if we get more than that or we do alright, then obviously I'll make a whole new video. Now, I'm sorting out a spinning rod, because I'll take something slightly different. We'll take the beach caster to start with for a bit of bait fishing, and as the tide comes up I'm going to use a spinning rod, and we're just going to use probably something like this, like a rubber eel, or we might use, you know, like the plugs like that. And we'll give it a bit of spinning as we're sort of heading towards dawn. We'll see how we get on with that. But like I say, we'll probably just use the one rod, just hold the one rod to start with, and then as the tide comes up and it's not very fishable or it gets awkward, because the trouble is the rock's very barnacly, and if your line hits the rocks, it's gone, it snaps pretty much straight away. But yeah, we'll see how we get on with that. But anyway, no, last night was okay, so we'll see how we get on tonight with the next one. Right, we're getting ourselves set to go again, and I've got more camera equipment and fishing gear. So, take the spinning rod, and I've got the beach caster in the car. Right, let's go. Right, we're kind of here, got a bit of a walk, not too far, but still a little bit of a walk. So I'll take that one, and I'll take this one and the other one. I want the double hook set up, I think, for this. I'll take that one actually. Yeah, this one will do. So as I was clambering through the rocks and that, I found old crab pot's been washed up here. It's no good, the crab pot, but it's still got a good neck in it. So I'm going to cut that out, take it with me. If I get the pot out the sand, of course. Obviously they just put zip ties in. There we go. There we go. Jacket side and the camera. One crab pot neck. I say the pot's pretty much had it. That's the thing though, somebody's left their pots down, probably near the winter, and got caught by one of those big storms. Right, I did actually break the handle off my scissors, but they still work. So. Right, let's carry on. Bit of a clambering effort round here. Take that. Right, so we're starting out with a bit of squid and a bit of ragworm. Now, where we're fishing from is extremely awkward. It's one place I've got to be very careful of. If we get this wrong, leaving here, we'll be swimming. I'm going to probably try and leave a bit earlier than I'd normally, because I haven't been here for a long time. I don't know how the rocks and things have changed, and if there's water that might come in around the back of me, that kind of thing. It will come around me, but if I go by my old ways of getting off, I just want to make sure that I've got plenty of time, because you can get caught out very easily here. It's also a place that you don't want to fish it when there's a swell. You can easily get washed off the rocks around here, because it will come up behind us. So now we'll just sit and wait. I wonder if I can perch my rod up somewhere so I don't have to hold it all the time. Otherwise I'm going to be holding this rod. Gotta be somewhere I can stand this up. So I've just brought my line in to check it, and we've got no bait. Now, I was actually expecting to bring it in and see it full of bait still, so that's a good thing I suppose. Something's having a go at it. But I didn't see any bites, so it might just be tiny fish or crabs or something. But we'll try again. Actually getting some bites. Fish is a fish. Oh, it's putting up quite a fight. I hope it's a small bass or something. Keep it away from those rocks. I've got rocks in the middle. It is actually, looks like a small bass. Gonna have to get nearer the water, try and land it, because I say a small bass, that's actually a pretty decent sized bass. There we go, one bass, caught on ragworm. I was just about to start free lining actually. Like I say, this place can be really good. It's got to be, I'd say it's a 4-pounder, something like that. Right, let's get this one off, and then I'm going to try with just the rubber eel, I think. Caught on ragworm. Well, I've got to make my way back now. I'm out of time. The water's starting to swing around the rocks, and if I stay here any longer, I'll be swimming back. And being it's only 3 or 4 degrees today, don't fancy that. So, just the one fish, but was worth coming.